Good morning students, I am Shomujit sir. Today I am here to deliver my lecture on topic Gymnosperm. So watch the entire lecture to get basics out of it. This is from chapter 3 of Plant Kingdom. So without any delay, let's start with the topic Gymnosperm. So let's start. So let's start with the topic Gymnosperm. You can see a beautiful cone I have given of Gymnosperm. Now you can see the diagrams of cycas, the figures of cycas ovule has been given, and the TS of ovule has also been given. Very nice pictures are given. You can see gymnosperms. What a gymnos means naked. The word gymnos means naked, and the word sperma means seed. So gymnosperm are plants in which ovules are not enclosed by a ovary wall. Alright, here ovules are not enclosed by a ovary wall and it remain exposed before and after fertilization. Alright, so here in gymnosperm the ovules are not enclosed by ovary wall and remain exposed before and after fertilization. Seeds that develop post fertilization are not covered. Alright, so seeds are not covered, they are naked. So gymnosperm, alright, you can see the comparison of gymnosperm ovule and angiosperm ovule. You can see in left hand side gymnosperm's ovule and right hand side angiosperm ovule. You can see in gymnosperm no covering is there, but here in angiosperm there is a covering, that is ovary wall. Alright, ovary wall are there, rest all are same. You can see the outer part is covered in angiosperm, whereas that is outer part is covered in angiosperm by ovary wall. What is covered? Seeds are covered by ovary wall, but whereas in gymnosperm it is not there, it's naked. You can see the gymnospermic tree, they are sequoia. Alright, so they include medium-sized trees to all tall trees and shrubs. The gymnosperm sequoia giant redwood is the tallest tree species. So this sequoia is the tallest tree species. Alright, next you have the roots are generally taproot. So the roots of gymnosperm are taproot, and roots in some genera have fungal association in the form of mycorrhiza. So example we can see in pinus. What happens in pinus? The taproot of pinus has an association with the fungus that is called mycorrhiza. So mycorrhiza is the fungi plus roots of higher plant. So fungi in association with roots of higher plant. Alright, higher plant here means pinus, that is on the gymnosperm. You can see the pinus root with mycorrhiza. Alright, then the mycorrhizal roots you can see. Now cycas, you can see here colloid root. So in cycas you can see a colloid root. Example you can see cycas revoluta. Alright, so cycas revoluta, in cycas revoluta, in plants like cycas, small specialist root, that is colloid root, and association with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. So these colloid root helps in fixing of nitrogen because they are in association with cyanobacteria. Alright, so this colloid root of cycas helps in nitrogen fixation. You can see the different plants: pinus, cedrus, cycas spinat leaf, and pinus needle-like leaves. Alright, so the stems are unbranched. The stems of gymnosperm are unbranched, that is in cycas, or branched in pinus and cedrus. So stems of gymnosperm can be both unbranched and branched. Leaves are simple and or compound. They are well adapted to withstand extreme temperature, humidity, and wind. In cycas, the pinnate leaves persist for a few years. In conifers like pinus and cedrus, etc., the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area. The thick cuticle are sunken. Stomata also help in to reduce water loss. Alright, so they have a sunken stomata. So they also have a thick cuticle. Alright, so gymnosperm have a thick cuticle and sunken stomata which help in water loss. So you can see the reproduction in gymnosperm. You can see cycas male strobili and cycas female strobili. All right. So the gymnosperm are heteroporous. All right. That means two different types of spores are there. They produce haploid microspore and megaspore. All right. So this gymnosperm produces haploid microspore and megaspore. Microspore are the male spore and megaspore are the female spore. So some leaves are modified into sporophylls. They are compactly and spirally arranged along an axis to form lax or strobili or cone. Alright. So these gymnosperm are heteroporous in nature. There are different types of spores are there. One is male spore and this female spore. So male spore is called microspore and the female spore is called megaspore. Alright, and they both are haploid in nature. And some leaves are modified, gets modified into forms of strobili. You can see the male strobili on the left hand side and the female strobili in the right hand side. Now you can see this strobili, this sporophyll. You can see the sporophyll bears sporangia in which spores are produced. Sporophyll are two types, one is microsporophyll and megasporophyll. You can see the male cone in the left hand side and the ALS of male cone has been given, that the longitudinal section of male cone has been given, where you can see the pollen grains and microsporophyll and microsporangium. So in the microsporangium, lot of microsporophyll with pollen grains are there, right? So in the microsporophyll you can see microsporangium where microspore are there, pollen grains are there. Right, so you can see the pollen grains. Next you can see in female, that is female cone. On the right hand side you can see the female cone, and then we have the LS of the ovule, longitudinal section, where you can see a lot of megasporophyll ovules are there. You can see the micropiles are there. Right, so these are the LS of male and female cone. Now microspore, let me discuss about microsporophyll. So these microsporophyll, they are arranged to male strobili or microsporangia. They bear microsporangia and the microspore develop into male gametophyte. It is highly reduced and confined to only a limited number of cells. This gametophyte is called pollen grains. The pollen grains are developed within the microsporangia. So all pollen grains are developed within the microsporangia. You can see the figure here given below, male cone and the LS. So within the microsporangium, pollen grains are present. Next you can see megasporophyll. So in megasporophyll you can see the female ovule and the LS of ovule is given. You can see they are arranged to female strobili or macrosporangia, which females are larger, bigger in size. They bear megasporangia ovules. The megasporangium, mega means what? Larger in shape, and previous name for male is micro, that means smaller in shape. So megasporangium mainly consists of a body called nucellus. Alright, it is protected by envelope. The megaspore mother cell is differentiated from a cell of nucellus. Now you can see the LS of ovule highly magnified. The micropyle are there, the outer fleshy layer are there, all the vascular bundles are there, archegonium are there. This is the most important part, archegonium, archegonial chamber, prothallus. So megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis to form 4 megaspore, and one megaspore enclosed within the megasporangium, the nucellus, develops into a multicellular female gametophyte that bears 2 or more archegonia. Alright, it bears. So this multicellular female gametophyte bears 2 to more archegonia. The multicellular female gametophyte is also retained within microsporangium, within megasporangium. Sorry. Again I repeat, the multicellular female gametophyte is also retained within megasporangium. So the male and the female, now moving to reproduction, you can see the male and the female cones may be born on the same tree, like in pinus, or on different trees on the cycas. So in pinus we can find both male and female cone on the same plant, whereas in the cycas we find in different, male different plant, female different plant. So unlike bryophyte and pteridophyte, in gymnosperm the male and the female Nematophyte do not have an independent free living existence. They remain within sporangia retained on the sporophyte. Now you can see the pollen grains released. After that, the pollen grains are released from the microsporangium and carried by the air currents, and they meet the opening of the ovule. The pollen tube carrying the male gamete grows towards the archegonia in the ovule and discharge the content near the mouth of archegonia. So after fertilization, the zygotes develop into an embryo and the ovules into say. So after the fertilization over, the zygote is developing into an embryo and the ovules are developing into a seed. So you can see the life cycle of gymnosperm. Everything is given here. All right. Thank you, student. This was all about the entire review lecture. Here I've discussed about the topic gymnosperm. So stay at home, stay safe. I'm Shomujit sir signing off for today, and again we'll meet in the next class. Thank you, students.